Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike. This is Narco Cop MMA. This is the Lambo Plays Podcast, episode number 6. I am joined today by my usual guest here, Tajik Bey. Good evening, Tajik. How you doing, man? Are you anticipating this fight night card?
Yes, very excited. Hello, Mike. Great to be here. Hello, everybody in the chat. Yeah, very excited. I mean, it's this main event is going to be excellent. We have a great fights in the undercards and the main cards. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? I'll be completely honest. I did some tape on this, but not my usual like deep tape study. Um, I had a lot of work this week. It was crazy, but I did get to the tape. I went into tape deep in like maybe 4 or 5 fights. The rest of them I taped kind of not so deep like I usually do. But I do have to say, nice. You got a nice little shave there. You're looking nice and smooth. What's going on here?
Yeah, not much. I started getting a lot of messages where people say, "Oh, this guy is Jorge Masvidal, blah blah blah," and now I shaved and I look at myself. Actually, I think people are gonna say that I look like, BJ Penn's cousin or something. But let's just roll with it. I guess it is what it is. Like Max Holloway says, I just, when you look fresh, when you look smooth, people are gonna compare you to the greats. But I think, like Anderson Silva used to say, also is normal. So yeah,
So
all good.
so you're ready to destroy this week then. That's what I'm this clean shaven look, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. It's in the air. I think this week I'm gonna be. I need to bounce back from the last week, and I'm feeling great for this week's card. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I kind of put up a dud last week as far as the Lambo plays, but um yeah, just it was two major flipping points last week with that. I had that under in that Barnett fight. I'm sorry, the over in that Barnett fight. The head kick kind of screwed me up there. A huge like 6 unit swing. And I also, what was the other one? I can't even remember. There was another one where I had like a 6 point some unit swing, which kind of sucked. But yeah, let me just say hi to chat. Daz, what's up, bro? Let's roll. No Toyotas here today. You are right. And Tajik is cleaned up, looking young, ready to kill it. Anaconda, what's up, bro? You need a Lambo like I need oxygen. We all need a Lambo like we need oxygen. Tim is in the house. What's up, Tim? Yes, it's Narco on the go. Thank you for stopping on in. And yeah, we will move on. Vera round 3 KO turned my night. Yeah, I mean, that was my hedge for that fight. So thank God that came through because I was kind of heavy on Edgar, and Vera KO round 3 helped me out a lot. Basically broke even on that fight.
What were you scoring it, Mike? Like, what were you scoring this
I
fight?
had it I had it 1-1.
Okay, okay. Because I was watching like a podcast I think yesterday. I don't know who these guys were, but they were like they were doing the pod while like driving the car,
Uh-huh.
and they were making predictions. It's like an unusual pod format they have. They make prediction while they're driving, and so it was strange. And so they were I think one of the guys were saying that he had like Vera winning. So I was surprised. So I thought it was like 1-1, maybe even
Wait,
at the
Vera winning? How the hell did he win the first round? He was on his
I
back.
don't know. I don't know. I think the guy was like he was like probably like brand new to MMA, and so yeah. So but it's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, there's no way he was winning. I mean, it was 1-1. Whatever happened in the third round. I think he was kind of edging the third round, but it was very close up until he caught him. Kale Dubral, what's up, bro? Thank you for stopping on in. I like it. Finn, frankly, 40 years old, never going to bed in a 40-year-old. I mean, he wasn't doing bad, man. You can't, like, it was 1-1, and the third round was pretty close. He just dude, he gassed out really, really bad. I mean, that's not usual Frankie. Like, you never see him gas out like that. He went 5 hard rounds against Munoz, and then he gassed in the third here. How are we ever going to predict that? Like, you can't really predict that. But maybe,
Yeah, and I think one more thing here, Mike, is that like they were in the same weight class, but Vera looked at least one weight class heavier than Edgar. And when you're this much bigger, you don't feel much power was coming out. I think in terms of the speed, Edgar was faster. He did everything what he was supposed to do. He was moving around, but it was obvious that when Vera was landing, he was landing much heavier shots than
Yeah, I agree
Frankie
with
was.
you. I do agree with you. I think he looked much bigger. But the gas issue is just kind of like huge. Like, I don't know what's going on. Someone was saying, I can't remember who it was, but I read it somewhere. But Edgar had some kind of problem. I forgot what it was. I did read it. I can't remember what it was. If anybody in chat remembers, I know they said he had some kind of huge issue before the fight. Obviously we didn't know it, and it would help to know it. Someone with Frankie decision only bet. I think I got saved in the third for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Vero was definitely coming on, and I think he was going to win the third, honestly. And that's to be completely honest, because I had a lot of Edgar bets. But with that being said, let's start this card. We only have 11 fights. We should get to this pretty quickly. I will give you my picks also today, like whatever I played. But with that being said, let's start out with the very first fight. Interesting fight. The 9-1 Kennedy and Jekawu going up against Jung, who's 14-2-1. I'll give this one to you, Tajik. You can start this one off.
Yeah, so my official pick is that Jung is gonna win this one by decision, and I was looking around. His by decision prop just is not that high to qualify for a Lambo bet, but Vegas is predicting it to be a close fight. I think Jung just has more ways to victory, and but if we listen to the Vegas and we kind of like put my prediction, together, then it's going to be some kind of like a greasy split decision, right? So if you're on the Nchikwu side, I would understand if you're betting him. What I like actually here is Jung by split decision or majority decision at plus 750. And I don't blame you if you're making the opposite bet for Nchukwu, which is probably around like 1500 or 1800, which I think it's a solid bet, solid bet as well.
Nice, nice. Desi, this guy on the right, that's BJ Penn. He's a special guest today, BJ Penn. Yeah, that's who it is. Says you massacred my boy Fishy.
No, yeah, you see this. We're getting started. Watch on Twitter. They're gonna say, "Oh, this is not him. It's a different guy." They replaced him. All kinds of fake news is gonna come in, but don't trust it. I am. This is me.
So, yeah. Moving on to the fight. For me, I really like that one, Jung here. I don't agree with Vegas. I don't agree with whoever's moving this line down, and I'm gonna continue to bet it as long as this line goes down. And I kind of, echo kind of the same sentiments as you, Tajik. I taped this one pretty good. This is the one I went deep on. And like Jung he's just better everywhere, to be honest. He's better technically on his feet. He's better on the ground, obviously. He's got wrestling. We saw it in a night fight where he took Knight down, well, whatever, 8, 9, 10 times, and Knight is a very strong guy, very powerful, explosive. And Knight was having a hard time getting out from under bottom, and the ground and pound was very nice. I mean, he busted up Knight really, really good in that fight. With Njeku, you see these fights that he wins, and it's sheer durability, and then also his guys gassing out, right? So the one fight where he won against the guy from City Kickboxing, Ulberg. Ulberg was tattooing this guy early, right? But Ulberg gassed, and Ulberg only has three. He had 3 MMA fights coming into this. The guy's a high level kickboxer, very good striker. But again, he got tired. And the one thing I did notice with Ulberg is Kennedy just shelled up on the ropes, and Ulberg was just like throwing big punches, but landing them all on Kennedy's arms and kind of wasting his energy, right? He went to the body eventually, but I think it was kind of like too late. Like he got tired already. And basically Kennedy tired him out and then, stopped him later on. It's not like I don't like Njeku at all, but to me, he just doesn't do anything great. Like, what does he do really good, right? He's got some power, but I think Jung has the power advantage here. I think Jung has the grappling advantage. Like I said, I think Jung is the better technical striker here. So, like, minus 124, I think we're getting a really good number now. And got Jung at minus 135, and I played him for 2.7 units. And I also think one thing here is I think Jung KO at plus 500, and hear me out here. I know everybody says Kennedy's durability is great and everything, but against Alberg, who's a big hitter, he got hurt. But Alberg just wasn't smart with it. I think if he's a little smarter, he probably gets him out of there. He was just he was rushing, right? He only has 3 MMA fights. He saw him hurt and he rushed it. If he took his time, Dawoon Jung has 15 MMA fights. We saw him one punch KO Mike Rodriguez, who, listen, Mike Rodriguez doesn't get one punch KO'd ever. He's the only guy to do that to him. So, Dawoon Jung has power in his hands. Don't kid yourself. And that straight right hand might be there for him to land. So for me, like the Lambo prop, I'm gonna go with Jung KO plus 500. I think if he catches him, he's gonna be smart about it, and he's got vicious elbows in the clinch. This guy, really, really nice elbows. I know everybody talks about the Alves fight. Yeah, he looked bad. Yeah, he was backing up but Kennedy, I think if he shells up like he did against Jung is gonna pick him apart on the ropes, and he's gonna eat some elbows while he's there. So yeah, my official Lambo play is Jung KO plus 500, and I do have Jung for 2.7 units. Moving on, fight number 2, another banger, man. 14-4, Mark Jacasey going up against the 19-10 Rafael Alves. I can kick this one off. I'm a little higher on Alves than other people. I kind of said it last time when he faced the killer that everybody thought Ismagulov was. And I said, listen, don't overlook Alves, because I taped this guy in Contender Series. And everybody was talking about how he got knocked out early in his career. He's got a bunch of, he's been knocked out a lot. But when I saw tape on this guy later on in his career, this guy is very durable, very strong, explosive as hell. Like you see it, and he hurt Ismagulov within the first minute of that fight. And then one thing that he showed that everybody questioned was his cardio, and he looked good in the 3rd round. He's the one that won that 3rd round against Ismagulov. So, I like Jacasey. I like Jacasey a lot. I think this is a decent fight for him. But, man, I'm very afraid that, if Jacasey decides to wrestle and he sticks his head in there, this guy has a very, very nasty guillotine. And I think that guillotine might come into play in this fight. So for my Lambo play here, it is Alves by submission plus 550. I really think that, he's going to force Jacasey kind of to grapple, because when he feels his power, Jacasey feels his power, he might want to grapple to see, he can take him down. And I think Jacasey's the better wrestler here, and he's going to be able to take Alves down. But I think while he's taking him down, it's going to be really, really dangerous for him. And I think Alves by submission, that guillotine is going to be there. And even off his back, he's going to throw submissions. This guy is pretty good. He's a BJJ black belt. So I'm going to go with Alves by submission plus 550. What do you have here, Tajik?
Yeah, I think Alves by sub is an interesting bet. I think it's an underappreciated bet, and I understand why you would bet him. I think it's very probable that he can find his way to a submission. It's probable, but I think also, Diakese is more a complete fighter. He has cardio for days. So I think that's a funny comment, Mushroom. And so it's my head is connected to Bluetooth right now, so that's why it's shining right now. But what's happened? I think if you're looking at Diakese, he's more complete fighter. He has more ways to. I think he has cardio. He can take him down if they want. And I think what he has to survive is that initial maybe onslaught from Rafael, and then I don't believe that Rafael will have the cardio for past the round and a half. With Damir, it was a little bit different, because Damir always has this measured approach, and he likes very even rounds, all 3 rounds. He doesn't press action or anything like that, and so it was easier a little bit for Alves to manage the tempo and dictate tempo of his own. So having said that, I think once the Diakese kind of manages the initial onslaught from Rafael, he's probably going to be able to take control of the fight and eventually stop Diakese. The bet that I like here is actually Diakese by TKO, and it's plus 350 right now, I think, on DraftKings, and that's the bet I have for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for that, because Gia Casey's is a solid hitter, and he went up against Fiziev and held his own. I mean, for the most part in that fight. The one thing I will say that you mentioned about the cardio, like the 7.5 minute mark for Alves, I think people are overlooking the fact that he was gassing at 145. Man, he can't. That weight for him is not good. He has a very hard time cutting to 45, and that's where he ultimately was gassing. At 55, it's much different for him. I think he holds a better gas tank at 55. Um, he's got a late third round win against Betabit Nazarevov in the third round. In that fight, he held his gas tank well. I think at 55, it's just he does a lot better. You see how thick the guy is, right? It's extremely hard for this guy to make 45. I don't know what he was doing at 45. I know he's shorter, but he's so damn thick and muscular. It's too hard for him to make 45. Glenbot says D Casey by decision. Tim says pick is the Casey points, but Lambo pick is the Casey round 3 KO. I heard a lot of people liking this round 3 KO Casey. I don't know. We'll see. I like Alves. I wouldn't be shocked if Alves beat Casey, to be honest. But I'm staying away from a betting perspective. I'm not taking anybody. With that being said, we will move on. Fight number 3. It is the 9-9 Courtney Casey going up against the 8-4 Liana Jojua, who missed weight. Tajik, any Lambos in this one?
Yeah, so I initially picked Casey by sub. I think this one was at plus 800. I think it's at plus 500 right now. But I think it's a good bet that there is a chance that that Casey actually imposes her, you know, ground game. We always say, oh, Jojua, can take her down, and everybody takes Casey down. But with Jojua, I think past the first round, what is she going to do? I think there's a chance that Casey actually tries to take her down or reverses her, and then finds the way to a submission or a TKO. I think either of these bets are good, either by sub or TKO. So, but I feel like there's more value in the Casey by sub bet, which is available or was available on DraftKings at plus 500, plus 800, and I think it's got shut down to plus 500 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I really like Casey in this spot, honestly. Jojua, I think Casey's better everywhere, right? She's better on the feet. She's better, I think, on the ground. Jojua is just, she missed weight. She looked out of it, man, on the scale too. And the one thing I couldn't pick between KO and submission, right? Because I think even if she gets on top, she might be able to smash Jojua, to be honest. And that's why I just went with inside the distance. It's kind of a cop out because it's plus 250, but I really like the plus 250. I think she might stop Jojua here. Casey does have stoppages in her career, right? She has an armbar against Barella. She has an armbar against Marcos. She has ground and pound in the fight before that against Stansu. So, and then her, pre-UFC, she had a lot of stoppages, right? She had 4 other stoppages, 4 out of 4 wins prior to the UFC. So this girl's pretty aggressive when she gets on top. She'll smash. I think she's going to smash Jojua, to be honest. And, you look at this line and say, yo, you know what? Casey's minus 275. But I honestly think she covers this price, man. And I think, taking Casey inside the distance plus 250 is a pretty good look here, honestly. George is in the house cheering the GOAT to make some wool t-shirts for the winner. That's a good one. I like it. There is 27 of you in here. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. I'm not my usual self today. I don't know. I'm just like beat up I had a lot of work this week. So I'm kind of beat up, but I'm also trying to give you guys some solid winners here, including my man Tajik. Tim says Casey ITD pick and Lambo round one sub. Don't bet the money line. You know what? The money line, honestly, I think she's going to cover it. Like I said, I don't know, man. Jojua to me is just not good, man. Sorry, but man, you like labor. You like labor from Return of the Jedi. Oh, he looks like labor from Return of the Jedi. All right, moving on. Enough of making my man Tajik. This guy is the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be getting a lot of messages on Twitter after this pod, but it's okay. I'm used to it already.
It's gonna blow up on Twitter today. It's gonna be BJ Penn takes. Fight number 4. It is the 8-1 Sean Woodson going up against the 8-2 Colin Anglin. For me, I kind of looked at these guys and said, Woodson's going to land a lot on Anglin. Anglin defensively is not that good, but Woodson doesn't throw really hard. I mean, he's got some people that he hurt, in fights, but when you look at him, he's a boxer. He has a boxing background, has nice hands, throws good, decent punches. It's just not with a lot of power. He's trying to touch people a lot. But I will say one thing is I do think the knee up the middle is going to be there for him, just like it was in that fight against Kyle Bochniak, where he landed it like 2 or 3 times, but Bochniak took it good. I don't think Colin England's going to take it as good if he lands that knee straight up the middle. So for me, I kind of went, a little deep in this one, and I think Woodson KO round 2 plus 900. I think, England's going to, in the first round, he's going to try to shoot. Maybe he's going to get a takedown. I don't think he's going to hold Woodson down much. But I think eventually Woodson's going to time him. And in that second round, I think Woodson's going to land that knee, when England's shooting. And KO round 2 plus 900 is what I could find here. The other thing is, I'm not very high on Woodson. I would never lay minus 330 on this guy, honestly. I can't lay 330 with this guy, knowing that, England can possibly take this guy down, but England's wrestling also is not impressive. So, I don't blame you if you're playing like a Woodson KO plus 250, because I think he's going to land on this guy and he's going to land often. So, Tajik, do you agree here, or are you more on the England side?
Oh yeah, I'm a little bit more on the England side because we know that Woodson is one-dimensional, and so his boxing is great. But I think Anglin can create some difficulties, especially if he decides to if he manages to take him down and maybe hold him down and make it a close decision. I think it's gonna go to a decision. I think it's very likely to go to a decision, and if it did, I actually like Anglin by decision. And if you feel maybe extra giddy, you can go Anglin by split or majority decision at plus 1800, which I think is a good bet because it can go either way, right? So yeah, I think we're gonna see a little bit better Anglin, than we saw in his initial fight versus Melsick. I think he can do it, and he showed it at the Dana White Contender Series. So I'm going to be rooting for him, and I'm going to take him by decision. But I'm not going to discount the fact that by split or majority decision at 1800 is actually pretty decent, take as well, or a bet as well.
I'll be rooting for you because, I personally don't like Woodson a lot, but I think the size and reach advantage is going to be key here. Just because England, man, his wrestling is just not very good. And I know he's a high school wrestler, I guess, but I don't like his wrestling. And maybe he can get some cage push and kind of keep him on the cage and kind of work a single or something like that. But Woodson's shown like he's pretty good off the cage, like harder to take down there. And Zalal had a lot of trouble trying to take him down. And I think Zalal has a little bit better wrestling than England does. So, with that being said, we will move on. Fight number 5. It is the 9-3-1 Cynthia Calvillo going up against the 12-5 Andrea Lee. Tajik, this is yours, brother.
Yeah, I'll be quick here. I don't have a Lambo bet here. I have a Toyota Corolla bet. But I feel like Andrea Lee has been underappreciated. She's a good fighter. Yes, her takedown is a liability, but she can offer takedown. Wrestling of her own. Her offensive wrestling is pretty decent. She showed it in her last fight. So yeah. I don't know. I like AGB, so I hope she takes this one here, and I like her by decision here. So it's a split plus 200, a little bit under what we normally get it for, but I feel like she can win, and she can win pretty decisively here. Maybe even by unanimous decision. I'm not sure what's the odds are here by unanimous decision. Maybe we can hold
You,
on.
I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it too.
Unanimous decision.
Plus 300.
Yeah,
There you
that,
go. There's your Lambo bet.
that's kind of that's too low for me.
Yeah, I know, but it also has to be realistic, right? So I feel like she can win this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I like Lee here, and so I hope she wins this one. I'll be rooting for her tomorrow.
So I have a tracked play. I agree with everything you said. I have a tracked play on Lee by decision plus 210. You can get I think 210 on FanDuel if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure so I don't lie here. Yeah, on FanDuel, it's currently sitting at plus 210. And yeah, Lee gets taken down, but I think Lee works, right? Lee works when she gets taken down. And the other thing, Lee on the feet, I think, is a better striker than Calvillo. I'm kind of worried a little with the leg kicks. I'm sorry, with the kicks. She likes to throw a lot of kicks, and Calvillo possibly can catch them and get a takedown. But I also think Lee can get takedowns here, honestly, and she can have some top time against Calvillo. So, I don't think that's out of the realm. And honestly, if Lee really tries to get takedowns, I think she gets them probably easier than Calvillo gets them. With that being said, Lee on the feet is much better. I think Lee can, possibly get some solid, striking going against Calvillo. And then if Calvillo takes her down, I think Lee's going to work back up. Like, Lee is not just going to stay there. I know the Matafari fight, everybody talks about it, but I think Roxanne is probably a lot heavier on top than Calvillo is, to be honest. So for me, I like Lee overall in this fight. I don't think she's going to stop Calvillo. So Lee by decision plus 210 is a pretty good price here. And I don't even mind. I might actually play Lee straight, to be honest, on top of just playing the decision line. Just because I think getting plus money, I think she should be the favorite here. So why wouldn't I sprinkle something on the money line? Going in chat, there's definitely value in England. She looks a lot bigger. Glenbot, do you mean Lee looks a lot bigger? Because I think that's who you mean. She did look bigger at face-offs. But moving on, fight number 6. It is the 15-5 Thiago Moises going up against the 18-2 Joel Alvarez. I can kick this one off. I want to say something like Joel Alvarez takedown defense is very bad, right? He gets taken down a lot. He plays off his back a lot. But he's very dangerous off his back, right? He's got those really, really long legs. He throws up, good submissions from his back. Of course, you don't want to see a guy sitting on his back, throwing up submissions against a guy like Thiago Moises, who's a high-level black belt. It's not a good idea. But I still like, this guy has a lot of fucking triangle chokes, stuff like that, armbar. This guy has very, very long limbs. So once he gets them around you, it's hard. It's hard to get out of him. But I'm a little higher on this guy than a lot of people are shitting on Alvarez. I don't understand why. His striking is not. Everybody's saying his striking is bad. It's not terrible to me. I watch the striking. It's decent. Is Thiago Moises the cleaner striker? Yeah, I believe he is. He's got advantages in the striking. But, overall, long-term wise, when we look at Thiago Moises, he's low volume, man. The guy is usually very low volume. He's picking his shots. I think Alvarez is going to have the greater volume in this fight. Um, and I think, Alvarez is dangerous from his back. Like, I don't think it's that easy for Thiago Moises to just, stand on top and just ground him. And, he might be able to pass some because this guy's always going for subs. But for me overall, I think Alvarez honestly has a chance to win the fight here. I don't think he's going to sub Moises. For me, the volume is going to be greater on the Alvarez side. And if he could keep this upright at certain points of the fight, I think, he's the much longer guy. Um, Alvarez decision plus 550. I don't mind it whatsoever because I think this fight is going to be a lot closer than what the odds suggest. To minus 245, minus 260, minus 275. You know, Moises, usually doesn't cover these type of prices, man. He really doesn't. When he wins, it's usually by decision. So, him covering 275, I don't think it's that easy for him to cover that type of price. So, what do you think, Tajik?
Yeah, my play here is identical as well. I like Alvarez by decision. I think he's a good fighter. I don't know if the weight miss was intentional, but he's way bigger than Moises. And with Moises, the path to victory is somewhat unclear. To be honest with you, he's low volume standing. He could take Alvarez down, but it's going to be dangerous on the ground. And mind you, will be dangerous on the ground. It's also how is he gonna take him down? We know Joel has a 0% takedown defense, but if he decides to, resist being taken down? And Moises can take him down, but I think he's gonna waste a lot of energy. He's a very muscular guy too. Let's not forget that. So if he tries to take him down and then eventually gets him, a couple of times, he feels the threat that Alvarez possesses on the ground, and then they decide to keep it standing, then what? Then we're dealing with low volume Moises, tired Moises versus Alvarez. So I like actually, I like the decision, Alvarez by decision. So yeah, my place here is identical.
Yeah, someone mentioned, what do you think about the weight miss? This is the second fight in a row that Alvarez missed weight. So in his last fight, I think he missed like 3 or 4 pounds last time out when he got the win against Yakovlev. He did not weigh 155 or 156. I think he was like closer to 160. So this is the second fight in a row he's missing. I mean, he's a big dude for this division. How tall is this guy? 6'3" or something? Like, the guy is really big for 155 pounds. I don't have no idea how he made it before that. So Anaconda said he's a weight bull. He's getting leg kicks off. You know what? Yeah, he could get his, he gets his legs. But you know what? He returns leg kicks himself. He's got some pretty nasty leg kicks himself. So, when he eats them, he kind of returns. So, um, yeah, we're both on Alvarez side. I like it because I think this guy is kind of overlooked. I know Moises is better tested, but it's not going to be an easy fight. And I don't think Moises covers minus 275 here. Um, Moving on, fight number 7. It is the 17-5-1 Yadong Song going up against the 17-4 Julio Arce. Kick it off to you, Tajik.
Is it this fight or it's Baeza versus Chaos?
No, Baeza versus Chaos is next.
Is next? Okay. Because I'm looking into best fight odds, keeping the track there. Yeah, so I think Song wins this one by decision, but since we're trying, to make a Lambo plays here, um, yeah, it's a tough one. Has Arce been stopped ever before? I'm curious. I don't think he has, but
I believe he has,
by TKO.
But I think it was by submission. Yeah,
Yeah.
guillotined by Brian Kelleher early on, about 5 years ago.
Yeah, Kelleher submits everybody. So, oof. Okay, then how about hot take? Yadong will becomes the first person to stop Arce by TKO. So, and I'm gonna take him by KO or TKO at plus 550.
Yeah, that's the play I had. I mean, I had Song KO plus 550. I like Arce. He's got really good striking, very, very good ground game. But when you go back and look at Arce of late, like he's been wanting to strike, right? He against last fight against Ewell striking, Duaru striking, Arosa striking. So the guy has just been, he's fell in love with the striking game, right? And rightfully so. This guy has really, really good striking. He's got like I think he had like some kind of boxing background too. So his striking is really, really on point. I like it. Um, but with that being said, he's kind of playing into what Yadong Song likes to do, right? He likes to stand and strike. Um, and the one thing I will say about Yadong Song is this guy is 23 fights in his career, and the guy is 23 years old, man. He's still young. He's still improving. This guy has a huge, age gap between him and Arce. It's almost a 10-year age gap, right? Arce's 32. Um, Another thing with Yadong Song is, I know when you go look at his career and stuff like that, he doesn't have KOs or whatever. But man, this guy punches. He punches really hard, and you got a guy here. You got a guy, and he fought Casey Kenny, who's extremely durable. You're not going to get this guy out of there. It's very hard. Then you go back and he fought Marlon Vera, another guy. You can't get this guy out of there. Very tough. Cody Stammen, another guy. I mean, these guys are all very, very durable guys that are extremely hard to get out of there. The one fight he didn't look very good was against Kyler Phillips. And that was kind of like Kyler Phillips was very wild, kind of dangerous kicker and stuff like that. But, he knocked out Alejandro Perez. And prior to that, he had, three straight stoppages, or I'm sorry, two straight stoppages against Arantes and Kandari in his UFC debut. So, like, when you watch him, this guy throws with power, man. I mean, he has power in his hands. I know Arce's never been knocked out, but I also don't think Arce's faced a guy that's as powerful as Yadong Song is. Hakeem Duadu it has some power, but I still think, he's fought guys like Ige early on, which, I still think Song, pound for pound, like as far as punching power, he hits harder than these guys. So I think if Song lands, I think he can hurt Arce. And Arce sometimes throws wide punches, wide hooks. And if he can come up the middle, I think he can catch Arce, and getting a plus 550 is not bad. As far as the fight's concerned, I really honestly can't pick a side here just because I think, both guys are durable. Both guys are the thing. The one thing I have for this fight is fight goes to distance minus 158. I think this goes to distance. I think both guys are durable. But if I was to pick a Lambo play, it would be the Song KO plus 550. Moving on. Fight number 8. This is the fight you were talking about. It is the 10-1 Miguel Baeza going up against the 12-2 Chaos Williams. It is my turn. Yes, it's my turn, I think. For me here, I have a play on this. It's also a Lambo play, and it's also a track play. It is Baeza by submission plus 6. I got it at plus 750 on FanDuel earlier, but it is at plus 650 now. Wait, let me make sure before I talk. You can get it at plus 650 on FanDuel currently. Listen, if Baeza decides to grapple and he gets this to the ground, it's going to be his world. He's the much better grappler. He is a BJJ black belt, and what he did in that fight against Sato is he showed his BJJ skills once on the ground, right? Very, very good BJJ skills. If he's smart in this fight, he probably should take it to the ground, because why give Chaos, the opportunity that he, for him to win is standing, right? He's got big power, just maybe give him some leg kicks, make him think about it, and then shoot for that takedown, right? Plus, 650, 750 by submission for the guy that's a much better grappler. I'm willing to take it. And this fight, they have it ending inside the distance one way or another. And I think Baeza, if he's to end this, most likely it's going to be submission. What do you think, Tajik?
Um, So I think this one goes to a decision. With chaos, it's a little bit. I think people underestimate chaos just in general. His fight game, and I think his fight game is very very sneaky. I think he's very, his fight IQ is good, and he knows how to balance his fight. So I'm most impressed by him actually, but I think Baeza, has a volume, has a KO potential as well. So I think odds reflect that this fight is going to be close, and I tend to agree that it's going to be close. I think we're underestimating. We're underestimating chaos here, just in general in terms of betting, because we're looking at Baeza in his last fight, and he fought so well, and some people were making case that even he was winning this fight, and but just in general, I think there's more spotlight on Baeza than on Williams, and I don't know if it's justified, because Chaos fights really smart. And so I think he deserves his credit. I don't think Baeza can finish him, but I think Baeza can take it to a decision. So I don't have a Lambo bet here, and I like Baeza by decision. I think it was at around plus 200. I'm not sure if he
Right.
wins convincingly, but it's probably going to be him. And if you like Chaos side, I think Chaos by decision it's also actually 550. We're a little bit, I think, again underestimating Chaos here, and I think he has shown very good performances. Other than the Pereira fight, which was also close, I think he was very very on point in his tenure in the UFC.
Yeah, Baeza by decision plus 280. I do want to mention that I actually like Baeza a lot in general. I really like his game. I know, Santiago Ponzinibbio is not an easy guy to fight, man. This guy is, he was one of the top guys right before he got, he was out forever. He came back. He looked rusty in his first fight. Looked kind of rusty in his first round against Baeza, where Baeza won that first round pretty easily. But this guy, the jab gave him a lot of problems. I want to say Baeza just had a lot of trouble with the jab, and that's basically what won Santiago the fight, right? The jab and pressure. And I think the jab got to Baeza. Chaos doesn't have that good of a jab. Chaos usually just blitzes people, right? He wants to blitz and throw huge punches. But I also think, against a guy like Baeza, who's got very good footwork, he's gonna make these blitzes and he's gonna counter him, I think, pretty easily. And also the low leg kick, like he's got a really, really good calf kick. I have no idea. I have literally no idea how Santiago Ponzinibbio took all those calf kicks in that fight. I mean, he chewed that leg up, and Santiago Ponzinibbio kept coming forward. So, props to him. Personally, I like Baeza a lot. I have a bet on him in this fight. I think it's a step down for him. It's a pretty substantial step down. And the other thing is with Chaos Williams is, in the Semmelsberger fight, that's a very close fight, man. Like, I know with unanimous decision, but that was a very, very, very close fight. And this is, it's a monumental step up for him. It's a big, big step up for him. Yeah, I have a 2.56 unit bet on Baeza at minus 128. I really like the guy. I like the kid. I think he's going to be really good. He just needs to work on moving his head a little more. I see last fight, he was kind of like using that boxing, kind of shuffling with his hands up, and blocking punches with his hands. But he's going to need to shore up the jab, his defensively when it comes to the jab, because he ate it all day. Moving on, fight number 9. It is the 8-3 Felicia Spencer going up against the 5-1 Leah Letson. Tajik, anything here?
Yeah, I'll be short here. Felicia is a dessert favorite. I mean, she can definitely take this one by submission if she wins. I think that's a good bet here. But I also, why not try to just KO or TKO? Letson if submission is not available. So at plus 800, which I think is a solid Lambo bet here. In my opinion, she submits her, but if we're which is at I think available at plus 333, 330, which is Lambo enough, and but I wouldn't also kind of this negate the possibility of her deciding to simply just pound out Letson, and by TKO line. I think is pretty sneaky here.
Yeah, for me, I'm on the other side on this one. I honestly, I don't like, Felicia Spencer laying 300, 320 with this girl is, I wouldn't recommend it. I know Leah Letson has not fought for what, 4 or 5 years now. I mean, she had a lot of, I'm sorry, 3 years. She had a lot of health issues, thyroid problems, all this stuff that I read about her. Um, and she's a military veteran, I believe. And the one thing I will say is she's got better striking for sure than Felicia Spencer. Um, you know, Felicia Spencer's takedowns are not very good. I think if this stays standing, I think Leah Letson is the better striker. She's going to be able to land on Spencer. The one thing I will say is Spencer is extremely, extremely durable, very, very tough girl. So I doubt highly that Leah Letson's going to be the girl to stop her because I think, Amanda Nunes couldn't even stop her. So, it's not going to happen with Leah Letson. But I do think this fight is going to be pretty close. So Leah Letson by decision plus 380, I think is a good prop to take. I just think this fight is going to play a lot closer than the odds suggest. I know Leah Letson's been gone for a while, but I think she's probably made some improvements. She, like I said, she had health issues, and that was even prior to her other fights before she took off. She had these health issues. Yeah, man, I'm not very impressed with Felicia Spencer in general. You know, to me, the fight against Dumont kind of said a lot for me. And, seeing her having a hard time getting these takedowns, stuff like that, keeping people down. Yeah, she had wins against Zara Farn and she ground and pounded her and she got Megan Anderson and, girls like that. But those girls are like, pretty bad when it comes to takedown defense. And I think Leah Letson's a little better than them when it comes to takedown defense. And I think she's got decent hands, man. We'll see. I'm not very high on Leah Letson or anything. It's not like a spot where I would be like, wow, this is a great spot. I just think the line is off and I'm playing the line value. That's all. Moving on. Fight number 10. It's the co-main event. It's 39-13 Ben Rothwell going up against the 18-7-1 Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I honestly, it was hard for me to find a bet on this. The only thing that I could land on that was a Lambo play that I think might come into play some here is the Rothwell by submission plus 420. And that's purely based on, what I see with De Lima, that how many, this guy's been subbed a ton of times. If Stefan Struve can sub you, then I guarantee you Ben Rothwell will be able to sub you. So, this guy's been subbed a bunch of times. I want to say he's been subbed 6 times in his career, 7 times. That's a lot of times to be subbed out of your 8 losses. So, he does have Ben Rothwell has really nice front chokes. I don't know if De Lima's ever going to grapple here because he likes to stand and kickbox. But if he does cage push, does do that, holds kind of Rothwell on the cage, Rothwell will definitely go for those front chokes. He's very good with them. And if Rothwell is to land on top of this guy and he decides to grapple, I think Rothwell will have a good chance to sub this guy. So yeah, plus, 420 range. I don't mind it at all. But for me overall, this fight is a stay away. How about you, Tajik?
Yeah. So earlier in the week, I was actually kind of rooting against Rothwell, and it seemed like a no-brainer for me. But as the week is kind of going, I'm tend to kind of lean more towards the Rothwell side. But I'm gonna stick to my original prediction. I think if my Marcus kind of implements this more smart game plan, which he always does, it's more of a mental game for him. That he gives up those submissions. Then he can cruise to a decision. It's very unlikely, and I think I understand why Rothwell by TKO or Rothwell by submission are interesting plays. But I'm gonna stick to my original prediction and pick Rogerio by decision at plus 550.
I don't mind it. Like I said, it's a stay away fight for me. I wouldn't, lay that with Rothwell the minus 170, just because I think Rothwell, it's kind of like his trajectory of his career is probably going like down, and the Lima, not that it's going up, but he's looked pretty good in his last couple of fights. Not last couple, but against Maurice Green, he looked good. Against Romanov, like he was doing okay until he got taken down, and then it was over. But I mean, I don't know. Is Rothwell going to actually grapple here? Like, if he grapples, he's probably going to be able to take him down and might be able to sub him. But I doubt Rothwell is going to grapple at this point in his career. Um, Tim says playing Courtney Casey money line versus Spencer at minus 300 is hilarious. Letson got hip thrown by scrubs in multiple fights. Spencer ITD. Well, Tim, if you think it's hilarious to play Courtney Casey, against Jojua, I think she covers that price very, very comfortably against Jojua. Jojua is terrible, dude. Like the girls, I'm not here to argue with you. If you think Spencer's the better at 300, hey, you saw something I didn't see. I don't personally like Spencer that much, so to me, it's a fate of Spencer more than of a confidence in Letson. Like I said, I'm just playing the line. Eric says, "Hey, if you're here, you haven't yet hit the like, be sure to do that, gang. Please help the homies out. Thank you very much, Eric Bets Fights. Please listen to Eric. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I appreciate it very, very much." Tim says, "Rothwell round 2 sub. De Lima is a quitter." Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, we've seen it in some fights, and Tim seems to think the same. With that being said, we will move on to the main event. It is none other than the animal Max Holloway, 22-6, going up against the 13-2 Yair Rodriguez Tajik. Do you have anything here for us?
Yeah, I bet Yair by decision at plus 1200, and then George, who is in the chat, also suggests an interesting play, which is Yair by split decision at plus 3500, which I think is a very, very interesting bet. And so when we're done, I think I actually may actually do that right now, if you don't mind, because I have a parlay, which includes Yair by split. So I had Yair by split, Tia Casey by TKO, Courtney Casey by KO or submission or DQ, Song Yadong money line, and Felicia Spencer by any knockout, submission, or DQ. So altogether, I have a small bet like here. It's like $70 to win $228,000 or something like that. So which I think is an interesting play. I think it's doable, and so I'm going to be playing that one. But I do like Yair here. I like Yair by split decision as well. So that would be my official Lambo play.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think here I think I know this line is a little too wide. I mean, minus 820, minus 720. Against the guy in Yair Rodriguez who wants to strike, who's a very, very good kicker. And Holloway's probably going to give him the fight he wants, right? He's not going to go there and grapple. He's going to stay in his face. He's going to, give him the fight he wants. And Yair Rodriguez succeeds at those striking fights. He's a very good striker, very good kicker. But we also know Max Holloway is a elite striker, and the top of the top when it comes to the striking game. The one thing I do see that is going to give Yair a lot of problems is, one, it's a small ring. Two, I don't think Max Holloway is going to give him the distance. He's going to pressure so much that, Yair is going to need space to get his kicks off. And because it's a smaller ring, because it's Holloway and he pressures a lot, it's going to be extremely hard to get his kicks off. The other thing I think is, Yair is, never faced a guy that's going to pressure and going to give the volume that this guy gives, man. Holloway is an insane pressure guy with tons of volume. For me, the Lambo play, and actually I do have some plays also on it, track plays. It is Holloway round 3, round 4, plus 650. You put those two together, it's a plus 50 bet on DraftKings. Holloway round 3, round 4. I just think, he eventually catches Yair. He tires him out, and with that volume, the pressure, the guy's an animal, man. He fights like an animal. He's been fighting like an animal lately. And someone pointed out, I don't remember where I heard it, but man, do you believe, Tajik, do you believe Holloway is only 29 years old? It's pretty crazy, right? I never, I didn't even know. I thought he was for sure in his like mid-30s even. When I went back and looked, someone said, I'm like, this guy's only 29 still. Like, so, he's still technically in his prime, right? In the prime of your career, 29 years old. Man, this guy is a different type of animal. I think the smaller ring, again, if this was a bigger ring, it helps you here a lot because it gives him more space. He gets his movement in. He gets his kicking game going. Smaller ring, more pressure, 5 rounds. Man, that all favors Holloway. And man, I like Yair Rodriguez a lot. But, the other thing I also want to say is he's also coming off a fractured ankle just a year ago. Remember that, too. So he had a really bad fracture of his ankle. He's been out for 2 years. So there's going to be some ring rust, too, here. So, I just, I think the line is wide, the money line. But, man, I just don't see how Yair is going to win outside like some like big head kick where he knocks him out. I don't think he wins minutes here. It's so hard to win minutes against Holloway. I'm gonna move over to chat real quick. If you got something to say it, Tajik.
No, I think Holloway is great. I think he takes a very good vitamins, so I think he's staying in a good shape. It's probably like those Centrum vitamins over at Costco or something like this. So, but yeah, he's in tremendous shape. But if Yair eats some horse meat or something like that, maybe he can offer him a good opposition. So who knows? But yeah, I like Yair here, and I like Yair by decision. Yair by KO is also good, and Yair by split is great as well.
Yeah, that horse meat from Mexico might work. Tim has max KO round 3, 11-1, round 4, 18-1, and round 5, 28-1 for me all day. Yeah, you can do the KO. I'm just worried, like he hurts. If he hurts Yair and somehow goes for the submission or something, I would hate myself holding a KO line, and that happened because we know Yair is not much of a grappler and stuff. So 100 Narco. I'm going with the championship rounds for Holloway as well. I think a lot of people are on that late round stoppage for Holloway. We'll see. Yair is durable too. Like he's not some guy that's gonna flake out. He's very durable. But man, Holloway's put out people that that fight against Cater, man. My God, I've never seen a guy take a beating like Cater did. Poor guy. Like it was a really, really bad beating for 5 rounds. Clenbuterol KO. Possible. Very possible, Nendalal. Very possible. That's going on. Tim says max by club and sub. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why the KO, I kind of just stuck. If you just stick to the round props, I think it was like 10-1, 16-1, and 22-1, I believe, or 25-1. Whatever. It's a lot safer than playing just the KO line. But with that being said, Tajik, You got anything? You got some Lambo parlay? I know you love those things. You can give it out. Tell the people they can hit, 10,000 to one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have already gave that parlay, but I'll give it again. So just in case no people didn't catch it. I have Yair by split or majority decision. Diakisi by TKO, KO, or DQ. Courtney Casey by KO or submission or DQ. Song Yadong money line, and Felicia Spencer by KO, submission or DQ. So altogether, it's yeah, plus 325,925. Yeah, so yeah, I put, like I said, not much. It's a $70 to win 228,000 or something like this, which I think is I think is decent. So I think it can play, and if not, then maybe if four legs play, and then it comes to Yair, and then DraftKings will offer like a cash out option. I may consider that depending on how much they will have to offer.
All right. I will give them my Lambo parlay. It's not anything really, really crazy, but it is the Alves submission, the Baeza submission, and the Holloway round 3, round 4. That will pay for $100. It will pay $36,462. So a $10 bet will pay 36.46. Not a bad little poke if you want to poke at that. I think all three of those props are live. So yeah. Let's see what they have to say. DXJC is in the house. Maxwell Break, Yair, modern day Jeremy Stephens. Almost got him out of there in the third. Right about that. Can't wait to bet my house on this parlay. Don't do that, please. Think about all the houses I'm going to have when Yair closes out with that split or majority decision. Yeah, you'll have quite a bit if that hits, if you're putting houses on it. Yeah, with that being said, there's still 25 of you in here. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Without you guys, me and Tajik would not be able to do these pods. And, we really enjoy it when people in the chat are there chatting, asking questions, giving their comments, anything it is. I don't get offended, Tim. I trust me. What you said is, you might be right, so just because I'm out here on this pod doesn't mean shit. Okay. You guys might know better than I do. It's just what I saw. And again, I didn't tape very heavily this week. And I was, honest from the forefront. The fights that I did tape heavily was the Jung fight, the Baeza fight, and the what other fight did I tape a lot? The Alves fight, which I didn't really have a bet on. But yeah, Tajik, thank you very much for coming on, man. You're great. You're always great. Tell them where they can find you. I'm sure they know, or if whatever you got going on.
Yeah, not much is going on. I think everybody who's in this chat is probably following both of us on Twitter. I'm available at Tajik Bay. I appreciate you having me on the show. It has become a good tradition. We have a good energy, and for everybody in the chat and yourself, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Tajik. Good luck to you also. Thank you for everybody in chat again. Good luck to all of you. Yeah, I'm probably going to be back next week. I will have the Lambo Plays, obviously, but I'm thinking of maybe doing something midweek. What I will say is I will ramp up my pods as I retire from work. I'm going to be retired next month. And then we will do a lot more stuff as far as YouTube and stuff like that. I want to do a lot more other things. I want to do actually giveaways to people in chat because I think, you guys being here is just helps out in general, it makes shows better. And I want to kind of give back, like just because, I'm here doing this and giving this to you guys, I also want to give back in other ways and make it entertaining, right? That's at the end of the day, this is entertainment. And of course, we give you guys, what we believe is, knowledge as far as MMA betting, right? So yeah, that's all I have. Mushroom, thank you. What's the pod? Play of the day? Do you mean play of the day? Or pick of the day? What do you mean by pod? Let's get the bag, boys. Thank you, Paulo Mappa. Thank you, brother. Let's get it. Let's crush it this week. We need a bounce back week. Last week wasn't the best, but this week we'll try to make it all up and then some. Anyways, have a great night, guys. Thank you for joining me. Peace.